Welcome everybody. It's Dawn's 12:30 class and it's warming up in the villages. That's a wonderful thing. Hopefully we'll have a nice beautiful spring real soon, and hopefully it won't skip to summer right away because it likes to do that in Florida. It'd be nice to have some nice springtime weather for a change. Today we're doing Cats in the Cradle by Harry Chapin. What do we know about Cats in the Cradle? 1974. This is considered a folk rock song by Harry Chapin, and it was his only #1 hit. Interesting. The lyrics actually began as a poem written by Chapin's wife, Sandy Gaston. It was actually inspired by the awkward relationship between her first husband, James Cashmore, and his father, John. Chapin also said that the song was about his own relationship with his son, Josh. Oh, here comes Charlene, letting in more people. And he admitted, frankly, he said, "This song scares me to death." Yeah, if you read the lyrics and you really pay attention to what's happening here, the kids grow up so fast that you don't really have time sometime to have the best relationship with them. But I think that's part of life. We all feel a little bit guilty about not spending as much time with our kids as we could have. I know I do. Sometimes I tell myself I was a terrible mom, but I can't think about it. It's part of life. You can't go back. You can't change it. You just keep living life. The hard rock band Ugly Kid Joe included a cover of this song in 1992 on their debut album, and it did peak at #6 on the U.S. Billboard Hot 100. Somehow in 1992, I don't think I was listening to a lot of radio because I know the band Ugly Kid Joe, but I cannot recall a single song they did. But now I know they did this one, so that'll help too. Other covers, Johnny Cash did this song. Also, Ricky Skaggs did this song. I did not know. So there's your trivia for the day. Now, before I get into chords, I am going to play the song. Let's review the roadmap first because it is a little dicey, and have patience with me because turning the pages is always a trick and a half, and they have to be turned a lot in this song. The first verse takes you all the way to the first ending, which is the 4th line on page 56. But it says 1, 2. That means that's the first and second ending. So those dots, if you want to color code them, go ahead. They go back to the dots at the beginning. Then you're going to play verse 2, the exact same thing. Exact same thing. Then you're going to go back and do it again. Verse 3. Verse 3. Now when you get to verse 3, you're going to skip the first ending. So you're going to come to the end of the 3rd line on page 56. Jump right down, it's right below it, to the 3rd ending, and then you play the last verse, and the last verse takes you to another page. Oh my goodness. And the other page, when you get to line 4, it says D.S. al coda. What that means is you're going to go back to the silly sign and look for the 2 coda. The silly sign is on page 55. That's where the chorus starts. The 4th line on page 55. You have that silly sign. And then you're going to play the first 2 lines on page 56 and skip to the coda, which is on page 58, the last line. Now, if you take a look at the coda and you take a look at the 3rd line on page 56, you can forget about one of the page turns and just do that 3rd line and just know in your head that is the coda. I have also, I'll put this on Patreon, I have also written out an introduction, and it can be used as an interlude between the verses, or parts of it can be used as an interlude for the verses, and it can also be used as the ending. So, all kinds of stuff. Does it make the song kind of long? Yeah. If you want to keep it shorter, you could just do the first ending, second ending, combine them, and then just go back and do the 3rd ending. So you can skip one verse if you want. All right. I have some subtle changes in the song, and I want you to listen for them because I have everything already programmed in. I did not do an arrangement cheat sheet. If you're seriously interested in it, I suppose in my spare time I could write it out, but I think just telling you what I did, because I did very few things to make it interesting. I didn't do a lot of major things, but email me if that's something that's super important to you. So I'm going to play it first, and we're going to do Cats in the Cradle. Now I am using the Soft and Easy Guitars background at 72 beats a minute, and I'm actually playing it at 144. I'm playing it in double time. But I didn't want the background to be going, so I didn't want that. So I cut the background down to 72, and you're just going to play it in double time. I also went in and found some fun sounds for the introduction. Okay, did you follow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dawn, what was the rhythm that you used again?
I used soft and easy guitars at 72. Soft and easy, the guitars variation. Okay, now you can use
Smooth.
other guitar like guitars or easy 4/4 would work, or guitars 4/4 would work. Those of you with pianist and guitarist backgrounds, some of your guitarist backgrounds would be fabulous for this. But just find one that's going to work for you. Um, did you hear some of the changes that I did?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Okay, okay. I did going from octave to octave. That was one of the easiest changes, was staying on the same preset and just going to an upper octave, adding a duet, and that just kind of filled it out. And I actually used the first verse and the second verse, I used the same two presets. When I got to the third verse, what I added was a golden harp. Added the golden harp, and I added one that I love to do, and it's that guitar pattern with a genius being an acoustic guitar. Okay, so I did find that. There it is with the guitar pattern. Here it is without. But it just added some to it. Okay. And then the other thing I did was I actually started with, not counting the introduction, the major sound that I used was the category country number 3 Chet's guitar. That's the one I basically started with. And then I added strings at the end. And I also added duet when I was doing, and always went up the octave and added a duet when I was doing the chorus, which starts in the Cat's in the Cradle where the silly sign is. They're subtle one-button changes. The problem is, because of all these page turns, it did make it kind of hard to even remember where's my button, where's my button, where's the stuff. So I just recorded them into presets, and it made it an awful lot easier to just go right down the line. And I did mark. And your intro. How did I get those groovy sounds for the intro? Well, I went to the more, category more, and I went to around the world. Around the world. And I used, where am I? Which one? Number 8 is a sitar. That's what Ravi Shankar played for a lot of the Beatles songs, was the sitar. And that's the sound. That's the sound. As soon as you heard that, you thought of Cats in the Cradle. I mean, that was the riff, right? And then on the bottom, I did have to, what comes up is a shanai, which is like something from Baghdad. Okay, it's one of those Middle Eastern, and I did not want that. So I found where my lower sounds or my lower geniuses were going, and I found them, and they happen to be in blue on this one. But if you're on a marquee or a grand marquee or an aria or an inspire or a rialto, it's going to be your sounds. Find out which ones are going to the lower, and those are the ones you're going to change. And so I changed both of them. One of them I changed to a, let me go back in here and see what I changed them to. Where am I? Nope, got to get out of this one. Go back to C. Okay, I changed them to a fiddle, which is actually sound number 321, and combined it with a fiddle with 2 dots slide. And I put those two fiddles together, and that's sound number 383 for those of you that like to just punch your numbers and put it in the sound. And then you combine those two sounds, and then you get that fiddle sound for. And I'm using my touch bar to do the glide. Now technically I think they slid on all 3 of them. But it gets messy doing that, so if you just do it on the last one. See what I'm doing? I'm touching the touch bar before I touch the last note. That's doing it in slow motion. But I'm
Dawn,
using
how did
that
you
touch bar.
originally get to that setting?
I first of all, I went to the more. I first always work left to right. First, I went to soft and easy guitars. I turned the Orchestra Plus off, so I didn't have a lot going on in the background. I went to category more, around the world. Around the world. And then you go to number 7 to find your sitar on the upper keyboard. Now, if you didn't want to do that, you could have just messed with the geniuses and gone to your upper geniuses, make them sitars. And I think there are, this one actually combines a bending sitar, which is number 314, and a shamisen, which is number 316, and I think this one, and sitar number 313 in your upper genius tab. So the easiest way is to just go to the more around the world and find your sitar. Okay, now what if you don't have a sitar? What other sounds would work with that? An oboe might work. You might just want to play the whole thing on a violin and turn them into fiddles. Okay, so if you have a smaller instrument and you don't have a sitar, you can see me after class if you want. Or just use a different sound. An oboe would be okay, but I think if you just put it on fiddles, that would be okay. You could play the whole thing on fiddles. Now, if you can't do it on the touch bar, because some of you don't have a touch bar, you know where you got to do it. You got to use that foot switch. Your foot switch to the left gives you your glide. You kick, play the note, and then release your foot to let it glide up. And if you don't feel like gliding, just play the notes. And it's going to sound fine. Remember, you don't have to do everything that I give you in these classes, but what I'm doing is I'm just pushing you a little bit so that you can push the buttons and find out what your organ has. And that's what's so much fun about music, is trying to find sounds and find backgrounds to make an arrangement. I just love doing this stuff. And then subtle changes from verse to verse. When I started with the regular music, I put the Orchestra Plus back in, because I took it out for the intro so that these sounds would stand out. And then I put the Orchestra Plus back in and went to category country number 3, which was Chet's guitar. Chet's guitar. And I just used that by itself. That's just guitars, Genie plus Orc and Orc plus, and then, okay, and just play it. Just play it. When you get to your silly sign, which is where the chorus starts, it's line 4 of page 55, that's where you want to go to a higher octave and add the duet. Okay, so I wrote 8 VA and I added duet. So you could, that's a 2-button, that's not a 2-button thing, it's a 1-button thing, but you have to write 2 things so you can remember to go up. If you'd rather throw in the duet and put it into the next preset, go ahead and do that. Then when I went back and played verse 2, I did the same 2 presets, the same 2 that we just did. Chet's guitar, and then Chet's guitar with a duet an octave higher. When I went to the 3rd verse, that's when I added the golden harp and went to the patterns in the more and went to the guitar pattern and went to the genius. And I'm actually using the acoustic 2 guitar, which is sound number 118. But you can find any guitar that you like that'll fit in there and work nicely. What if you can't change sounds? try just putting it on a golden harp. If you've just got a golden harp that goes up and down and a harp sound, try it. See if you like it. It might sound absolutely fine. So I'm just getting you to punch the buttons on your instrument and find out what they do for you. When I got to the chorus there, oh, I think I did something else. Nope. Nope, I just left it. Chet's guitar with no duet. I took the duet off and just added the golden harp for verse 3. When I got to the chorus, which is line 4, right by the silly sign, I added a strings 8. A strings 8, which is one of the tabs. For those of you with the smaller instruments, find your strings like under the organ button, or have your strings lined up ready to go and just push the button and it'll be there for you. An Easy 10 has it in that organ button. Just make sure a strings 8 is underneath it and then turn it back off, and then when you're ready to put it on, just push the button and it'll be right there. Okay, then I played this whole page 57 with that right there. Just the guitar with the strings. The last time I came back to the silly sign, all I did was add the duet. Now I've got the guitar and the strings and the duet. So I've got a big fat sound and the golden harp. Okay? So subtle little things. But again, sometimes these subtle little things just help to build an arrangement, especially when you've got a song that has 3 verses and it just goes on and on and on. And if you keep playing everything with the exact same sound, it will sound a little boring. Now, lucky for us, I think most of us know the song, and so I think we're singing the lyrics in our head as we go through it. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yep. So that's what I do, is I sing the lyrics as I go through it. And sometimes you want the changes to be huge, and sometimes you don't want the changes to be that huge, because if you want to sit here thinking of Harry Chapin just strumming a guitar and not doing much, he's not building a great big orchestra. And then I would go back to my first preset, and in between some of the verses, I would play parts of
I noticed that.
my intro. Okay, now that did 2 things. It was easy for me to then get my pages turned so that because I knew what I was doing. I was just play part of the intro and turn your page and get ready to play the second verse.
Mhm.
Yep. So it was useful for that too. And then the ending, it tied all in together because I played the whole thing again at the end and then faded it out. I just kept working on the and then faded it out. Now, if you've got a fade out button, you would want to reach up and touch that fade out button while you're playing. If you don't have a fade out button, you just have to take your foot on the expression pedal and slowly pull it back as far as you can. And then you have to reach up to your master volume and just turn down your master volume to get it all the way to 0 if you're still hearing a lot of sound.
Mhm.
So those are the ways to fade out. Any questions about what we just
I have one.
Okay.
On the harp, you said you did it in the guitar pattern.
Mm-hmm.
And did you say you added basic or genius with that, or
I added the Orc Plus.
Orc Plus? Okay.
I added the Orc Plus.
I knew you added something.
Yep. The introduction is the only part where I only have the basic or genie on. The rest of the song, I have it with genie or basic and Orc Plus.
Okay.
And again, if you're not using this exact preset, you want to play with those and see which one sounds the best. You might want to take them both out. You might want to leave them both in. So, it's totally, this is where your creativity comes into play. You go, now what did Daun do for this? Let me try that on this rhythm and see if I like it. And then maybe try it with only the Orc Plus. Turn the basic or the genius off. Or the genie off. Or only the genie and turn the Orc Plus off. Or turn them both off. Sometimes just having a golden harp with no genie or Oric Plus sounds really good too. So again, it's totally up to you as to how you want to make this arrangement. But like I said to my class last hour, those of you who were in the store and had class with me a couple hours ago, don't think too much about it. Don't feel like, oh my gosh, that's just too much to take in and it's too overwhelming. Find a rhythm. Always work left to right. Find the rhythm that's going to work for you. Find a sound like a Chet's guitar or any other acoustic guitar that you like or anything else that you like and play the song. Just play the song with just one sound and play it. Okay? Just to make sure your fingers know what it's doing and enjoy playing the song. As you get into it, you're going to say, that second verse needs something or the chorus needs something. What did Dawn do? Oh yeah, she added a duet in the chorus. I can do that. Okay, then it starts to make a little more sense. Don't get so overwhelmed with all the changes right up front. Okay? Just take it one step at a time. Or if that intro, if you don't feel like changing a sound for the intro, play the intro with the country guitar. Who cares? Until you're ready to really make your own presets. You could play it like this. What's so wrong with that? Nothing. So if you just choose one sound and just play the song and just get into the song, because that's what you got to do first, is just get your fingers playing it and have fun with it. Then you can start changing up the sounds, recording your presets, saving your presets if that's what you want to do, add a duet, add some strings. Those things will come later. You don't have to do them all at once. Any other questions?
Yes,
Okay.
this is Phyllis.
Hi, Phyllis.
I, a lot of times, well, I'm really not sure of how to memorize the presets, but I'm working on that.
Okay.
And a lot of times I'll hit memorize and then it says not memorized. And I
Oh,
don't know what I'm doing wrong.
okay. What
I
you
have
do-
a
yeah.
Rialto.
A Rialto. Okay. When you have, what you do is you set up the sound, you set it up exactly the way you want it for, let's say you set it up for the introduction. Okay? Then you do this. Memorize. Let's just say you're working in the A bank. A1. Now, A and 1 are not going to light up. So don't look at the lights. Look at the window. It will tell you memorizing to A1. A and 1 are not going to be lit up. And then if it's everything is exactly the way you want it, then you turn your, you do with style. With style. Make sure it says with. I always push with transpose as well, but you don't have to because if you're not transposing anything, it doesn't matter. And then go back and turn your memorize button off. Turn it off. And then it will say in the window, memorized to A1, and then the window disappears. If it didn't memorize, that means you didn't touch something or something glitched, try it again. Make sure you have your setup exactly right and try it again. Memorize A1 with style, with transpose if you wish, and then turn your memorize button off and it'll be there. Okay. Now, before you go to A2, make your changes. Don't press A2 until you're ready to memorize it. Okay? Stay right where you are, and then make whatever changes you want to the second part of the song. Maybe it's just push a duet. Maybe it's find Chet's guitar. Whenever you find that, then you go, okay. And I would always keep a little notebook. A1 equals this. Mm-hmm. Then you memorize A2 because you don't want to memorize A1 again because then you just erased everything. And boy, do I do that a lot. When I'm working, I don't take the time to write things down, and I'll say, maybe I want to go back in and change this one, and I forget which one I'm on, and so I erase one that I already did, and then I got to go back and fix it and redo. So if you keep a little notebook and just write down what you did, okay, what sound you're using, intro sounds, I'm using the sitar. That's going to be A1. And then A2 is going to be with the adding in the Org Plus and changing it to Chet's guitar. Play part of the song. Go ahead, play it. Then, once you have it, then save that to A2. Memorize A2 with style, with transpose. I always just do with transpose, but it doesn't matter. Then go to your memorize button and press it again and turn it off. It will now say in the window memorizing to, or memorized to, and the window goes away.
I see.
I have a
Okay,
question.
Yes.
thank you.
If you don't, you always say you memorize transpose. I do that too. But if I didn't do that and I decided I wanted to transpose while I'm playing it, would I have a problem?
No, all you'd have to do, well, you might, because here's what you got to do then. If you're going to transpose, then you
Yeah.
have to find your transpose and touch your transpose. It's a one button
Yep.
push. You can do that. Now, the problem is if you've got more presets and you go to the next preset, it might go back
Yeah.
down to where it was.
So it's best just to press it anyway, whether you're going to do it or
I
not.
just
Yeah.
do. That way, if you are transposing, it'll always just keep it right where it is.
Okay.
Yep.
Got
But
it.
if you're never using transpose, I wouldn't worry about it too much. Okay. Peg, did you have a question? Nope. Okay. I see you up on the top screen. Usually that means you got a question.
No, I'm sorry, I was thinking,
Anybody else?
Dawn, I have a question.
Okay.
You talked about your intro and it sounds beautiful. Now I missed
Yeah.
just a little bit in the beginning. Did you
Okay.
write that intro yourself?
I
Tell
stole
me
it.
where I can find it. Put it
Yeah.
that way.
I stole it. I went to musicnotes.com, or maybe I had this in a different book in standard notation. And
Well,
then
where can we get it?
from Patreon, because I'm
All
going
right.
to, I'm going to have Robert put that on Patreon.
All right, now how do I get to Patreon?
Okay. Or you can just email me if you want.
Okay.
Patreon, you can go to the bottom of the website. It'll say join us on Patreon, or some of the emails Robert has, it will say join us on Patreon. Okay? And just click on it and follow the directions. You may have to sign up before you can join. And they're asking for donations, anywhere from like $1 to $5 a month. And that does help Fletcher Music Centers, because what we're doing with that money is we're actually using it to cover all of the Zoom account costs. So that does help us out. Now,
All right,
if you
thank you.
want to, if you're not sure how to do it, or you're struggling with getting that, you can email me at 5028 at fletchermusic.com, and I always keep them on file, and I'll just scan them to you.
Dawn,
Yep.
I had a problem getting on, not once, but twice. And then the third time I thought, what in the world? And I hit follow. And it was a piece of
Okay.
cake.
I have not been on Patreon yet, so I have
Yeah.
not. I don't
And
know.
it was so easy. If you push follow.
Push follow.
Yep.
Okay, that's good to know. Very nice.
And it's very advantageous because Monday I missed the class
Mhm.
Oh, I love
and
it.
I was able to pick it up this morning and go through the whole class.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's
That's
wonderful.
what it's for. Yep.
Yep.
Yep. And I'm going to have all my attachments if I do extra intros, or I write out arrangements, or if I like I gave a chord chart to my level 2 class yesterday. I just have Robert post it now on Patreon, and so we're still learning. We're still learning how to use it ourselves. So it makes it kind of fun. And just-
Dawn,
yes.
once you have everything set up on your preset,
Mhm.
do you have to put it on a stick in order to save it?
If you want to save it, you will put it on a stick. Yes. Now,
Otherwise,
I don't save any of these. I should, but I don't. I should.
oh,
I know.
okay.
If I wanted to save it, I would take my stick, okay, and I would put it in, and then once you have everything, first thing you do is put everything in your instrument. Put everything in the organ. You want to save it so that in case like Beverly comes over to your house and says, "Oh, I got this great stick," puts her stick in your organ and loads up her stuff, and your stuff is gone.
Yeah. Oops.
That's happened before. All right, so you take your stick and you put it in, and then you go to your window and you go to USB. If you have a disk drive instrument, you go to disk, and then you have to look and see which one, load or save. You always want to save your work. Everything you did in your organ, you want to save to the stick. Now make sure that when you touch it and it comes up to the next screen, you read the top of the screen, because they're right next to each other. That was a mistake in my book. The load and the save look the same. So just read the top of the screen and make sure you hit the save. Because if you hit load and you press it, you just erased everything you just did. So be careful and make sure that when you press save, it actually says save presets at the top. And then you just follow the directions, and you can name them if you want. You can just save them as whatever group, and follow the directions, and it'll say preset saved. You know, touch the bottom of the thing and it saves them all, and you're good. And then you have everything here. Then when you want to put them back in the organ, then you load it back into your organ and just do the reverse. Any other questions?
Make sure you put the letter that you saved it at.
Not necessarily, because when you save, it saves every single letter. It'll save all the A bank, all the B bank. It saves every single letter, everything that's in there, whether you have anything in it or not. It saves
And
the entire set.
And you can label what you save, so you know.
Yes, you can. You can label.
Yeah,
Yes, you
I
can
do
label.
that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I usually put it on the song so I know what bank that I'm
Yes.
going
Yes.
after.
And unless I'm doing a concert where I'm using up a lot of stuff, I will usually just go song by song, and usually A bank is pretty much the only one you use. And you could put 5 separate songs in there if you wanted to, but then keeping track of them makes it a lot harder. I would just do it song by song. Let's do some chords. I'm not changing a lot of chords. As a matter of fact, on page 1, page 54, no changes. Just be careful. Be careful, because you're doing thumb on A flat, and then you're doing thumb on B flat with your left hand.
Mhm.
And we're not used to doing that. Thumb, thumb. So we got to watch that. Let's go to page 55. Line 1, the E flat is good for 2 counts. First measure, third beat, over the G for the word new, put in an E flat major 7. E flat, capital MAJ 7. Your 2 notes are D and E flat. Then if you wish, you can put a 7 on the C minor, which would be C, E flat, and B flat, or just play C minor, doesn't matter. And that's it. That's it on that page. Let's go to the next page. 56. No changes. Yeah. Now that's the cool thing about folk music and rock and roll music. There's usually 3 chords and done. So if you learn these chords, it's a very bizarre chord pattern though. So you just have to get used to playing those chords. Page 57. 4th line, 3rd measure. The E flat is good for 2 counts. Beat 3 over the G for hassle. Put an E flat major 7, just like we just did. And it's just D and E flat. And then if you wish, on the 5th line, you may put a 7 on the C minor. The first C minor, not the last one. And on page 58, line 2, measure 2. The E flat is good for 2 counts. Beat 3 over the G for the word phone. Put an E flat major 7. Same one. Same one. Then if you want to fill in chords at the coda, they forgot to fill in the rest of the chords on the coda, believe it or not. Misprint. So the coda has the F for 1 measure. Over the E flat for the word gonna, put an A flat, a flat alligator, for 2 counts. Then over the G quarter note for the word good, put a C minor, chicken minor, which is C and E flat, and then over the last F dotted half note, put an F. Okay. Any other questions?
Awesome.
Uh, Yes, the chords, when you were over hassle, my book is a little bit different. So I'm lost you
Oh.
on that line.
All right, my new job's a hassle. All right, new job is an E flat just as it's printed. And
Okay.
over the word hassle, you want to put an E flat major 7. E
Okay.
flat major 7, which is D and E flat.
Was there anything before that on that line?
Nope.
No,
Okay,
Nope.
that's it. Thank you much.
That's it. Not a lot of changes here. Not a lot of changes. The hardest part is turning the pages. That is
Dawn,
absolutely the hardest part. Yes.
would you do the last line again?
Yes. The last line, the coda.
Coda,
Uh-huh. The F is
the
good
coda.
for the F is good for one measure. Second measure, first beat over the E flat for gonna. Put in an A flat, alligator flat, for 2 counts. Beat 3 over the G quarter note for the word good. Put in a C minor, chicken minor, C and E flat, and the last chord over the last note is an F.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Anybody else? No. No? Yes? Okay. All right. How are we doing on time? Ooh, very good. You want me to play it one more time before we do?
yes, 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 yes.
Follow
Yes,
through, and you
yes.
can listen for the changes. Listen for where the golden harp comes in. Listen for where the strings come in. Listen for where the duet comes in. Not a lot of changes, but just listen for where they are. Okay.
End of first verse,
and fade it out. Yeah. Okay.
intro.
The hardest part is turning the pages. So if you can figure out a way that you can have, like a couple of pages on, like I usually make copies and then I'll tape them to like manila folders. So I have 2 or 3 of them kind of lined up and I can just kind of shuffle them sideways
Yeah, you have
in
to.
front of me.
Yeah.
Okay, that usually works, especially if you have to keep coming back to the same spot. It works better that way.
How many,
Now,
Yeah.
I did change some notes, okay? I did change some notes. So before I get into fingering, I want to tell you where I changed the notes. Page 54, last line. It says G, B flat, G, B flat, G, B flat, right?
Mm-hmm.
Change every single G in that line to an A flat, and I think you'll like that better.
where was that?
On page 54, last
okay.
line, first measure. Just change those
Okay.
3 G's to A flats. So instead of
And-
playing this, okay, what? I didn't like the way the G sounded with this B flat. I played it with an A flat. And it sounded a lot
Dawn,
better.
what are the words? I can follow it better.
He learned to walk while I. He learned to walk while I was away.
Hmm.
That makes more sense.
Change the G's to A flats.
3 of them.
Yes. Now you're gonna do the same thing. Where? Yeah. Page 57. And it's like the last verse. I've long since retired. My son moved away. I called him up just the other day. I called him up just that measure, which is the first measure on page 57. Do the same thing. Cross out the 3 G's and change them to A flats. I think you'll like it better. Try it. If you don't like it, change them back to G.
Dawn,
Yes.
on your page turners,
Uh-huh.
these are available.
What do you have?
They're tabs.
Oh, the tabs.
Tabs.
Yeah.
Tabs.
I know. I'm lazy.
Tabs.
I know. I'm very.
Staples.
Yep. Labels. Your address labels.
These are just tabs that you buy at
Staples.
Like
Well,
Office Depot or
any of
Walmart.
the Office Depot, Office
Yeah.
Max.
Yeah. Yep.
Index
Mine is
tabs.
Staples.
Yep.
I use paper clips.
Now I've tried paper clips. They get a little bit weighty. That's the only problem with a paper clip.
Yeah.
So, but the address labels that you get a ton of in the mail, just fold them in half and make a little tab.
Oh, yeah, it's a good
That'll-
idea.
So that'll give you
Yeah.
something to grab
That'll
onto
work
as well.
also.
Yep. That'll
But
work.
the harder plastic ones that you get at Office
That would be
Max
good
or
too.
Office Depot are a lot better than the flimsy.
Yeah, I'll bet. I would agree with that. But
Dawn?
personally, if it was me and I was playing this in concert, and I have done this in concert once, I would put it on manila folders, and then just kind of scoot them one in front of the other, and then just slide them down as I needed them.
Dawn,
Yeah.
I was counting every time your presets,
Uh huh.
and your intro was 1. Your
Yep.
first and second verse was 2.
No one. Yeah, my first and second verse was 2. Correct.
Third verse was 3
Nope.
or 4.
Nope. The
4.
first and second chorus was 3
Okay, all right,
because I added the duet.
right,
First and
okay.
second chorus was 3. 4 was when I came back to verse 3.
Yep, got it.
Yep. And 5 was when I did the chorus the third time. And 6 was when I did the chorus the very last time.
Okay,
But, again, you can make a change and not put it in a preset. You can just do a 1-button push, too.
Yeah. That's probably what I'll do.
I'm just trying to get you guys, again, find some of these things on your instrument that might make a better sound just with a 1-button push. And it just gets you to look at your stuff and try some stuff. That's what I want you to do. And don't think you have to do all the stuff that I do. Like I said, start with a rhythm and start with a nice sound and play. And just play the song and enjoy it and get into the song. And then when you say, now I think I want to try something different right here when the chorus comes in. And it might be as simple as all I'm going to do is put my hand up the octave. That could be all you do. So don't feel like you have to do absolutely everything that I'm doing. I'm just doing stuff like that for, first of all, I love doing this. This is what I love to do, is make the arrangements. But you don't have to do everything that I do. If I inspire you to do one thing to say, ooh, I did not know that I had a golden harp that could go to the guitar pattern. And if you learn that, you are 100% successful.
Yes.
Okay, I will do fingering.
Next week.
The song for next week is Close to You. So if there are no more questions, we'll do Close to You next week. I'll see you all next week. Hopefully I'll see you in Friday's class as well. You know, some of you I do, some of them you I don't. And otherwise, go enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Go to the beach, have a wonderful time. The rest of you stick around for fingering, and we'll get that done.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks much. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, fingering. Here we go. F1, F1, C5, C5. C5, A flat 3, B flat 4, C5, C5. A flat 3. Second line, B flat 4, B flat 4, G2. B flat 4, B flat 4, G2, C5, all the Fs are 1s. Third line, F1, F1, C5, A flat 3, B flat 4, C5, C5. The A flats that we just changed would be A flat 3, B flat 4, A flat 3, B flat 4, A flat 3, B flat 4. If you kept the G's, make them 2s. That's just totally how your ear hears it. C5, F1, 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 G2, F1. Let's go to page 2, first line. G2, F1, G2, F1, G2, G2, F1, G2, F1, E flat 3. Put a circle around it. You're going to do a crossover. C1, E flat 3. Second line, E flat 3, E flat 3, C1, G5, E flat 3, F4, C1, C1. Third line, E flat 3, E flat 3, E flat 3, E flat 3, G5, E flat 3, F4. The chorus, F4 all the way across. The last line, G5, F4, E flat 3, 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 C1, and E flat 3. Turn the page. Top line, F4 all the way across.
Jeepers.
Yep.
Wow.
G5, F4, E flat 3, C1, E flat 3, E flat 3, C1, G5, E flat 3, F4. And don't think that you have to play it as fast as I did to start. You can always slow it down so your fingers can find their way.
Right.
Third line, C1, E flat 3, C1, E flat 3, C1, G5, E flat 3, F4. Let's go to the last line. F1, 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 C5, C5, B flat 4, C5, C5, C5. Let's go to the top of page 57. I called them up just the other day. A flat, the note that we changed, 3. B flat 4, A flat 3, B flat 4, A flat 3, B flat 4. If you leave them as G's, make them 2s. C5, F1, F1. Second line, F1, 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 F1. C5, C5, A flat 3. Third line, B flat 4, C5, C5, A flat 3, B flat 4, B flat 4, B flat 4, G2, B flat 4, G2, G2, B flat 4, C5, F1, 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 G2, G2, F1, G2, F1, G2, F1. Last line on that page, G2, F1, E flat 3, circle. That's a crossover. E flat 3, C1, C1. E flat 3, E flat 3, G5, E flat 3, G5. Last page. The last page, top line. F4, C1, E flat 3, E flat 3, E flat 3, E flat 3, G5, E flat 3, G5, F4. Next line, F4, 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 G5, G5, F4, G5, G5, F4. Third line, G5, F4, E flat 3, C1, E flat 3, C1, G5, E flat 3. Fourth line, F4, C1, E flat 3, C1, G5, E flat 3, C4. We're almost done. And the coda. D1, D1, or I'm sorry, C1, C1, E flat 3, C1, E flat 3, C1, G5, E flat 3, F4. It's not that difficult of a song to play. The chords are awkward because we're not used to doing thumb, thumb, A flats and B flats in a row. So get used to playing the chords along with the melody slowly. And don't worry too much about the changes, like I said, until you get the song under your fingers and it starts to become fun and you say, oh, now it's time. I'm gonna hit the duet button. Now it's time. I'm gonna hit the strings. So, you know, don't get too caught up in all the changes. I put them in there because I can, and some of you like to be pushed, and you don't have to do any of them. You guys are the bestest. Any questions?
Thank you. Good job. I love the song.
Yeah, I love the song too. It's pretty cool.
Have a good time.
You guys are welcome. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming today. Go to the beach. Have a wonderful rest of the week, and I'll see you again real soon.
Thanks, Dawn.
You're welcome. Thank you.